Greetings and salutations, everybody, and welcome to VHS Movie Talk for you, the movie fan. I'm Dom Toyota, where I bring you all the latest news in the world of movies, plus some insight into what it all means. All right, guys, so I am just out of the theater right now. I'm finally home. I had some time to think about this, and we are going to talk about Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. And I'm really excited to sit here and have a conversation and talk about this movie because it's a lot of fun. I enjoyed the hell out of this movie. All right, guys, so let's go ahead and talk about things right off the bat. Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny was directed by James Mangold, starring Harrison Ford, Phoebe Waller-Bridge, and Mace Mangleton. I always get his name mixed up. So the movie starts off right. It starts off back in Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, around that time period when Indiana Jones is fighting off Nazis, and I'm getting excited because it's absolutely fun to sit and watch Indiana Jones sit there and fight Nazis. How much more can you get when it comes to Indiana Jones on the big screen? So let's go ahead and let's talk about the beginning, and let's talk about the how can I say it? The elephant in the room, right? And the elephant in the room is when you see Indiana Jones himself de-aged Harrison Ford, and when you see this, it makes you laugh, and it but it's a little jarring too at the same time, right? It's a little jarring because you see this look now in this when looking at this photo, you can kind of tell something's off about it, but you can't really tell, right? It's the uncanny valley, and that's what I find absolutely hilarious about it. Um, I don't know why this is on there. Hold on one second. So it's young Indiana Jones moving and running around, being played by old Harrison Ford. And it makes you laugh because when he speaks and when he moves a little bit, you're seeing that 80 something year old in a 40-year old's body. So it's a little jarring at first, and it kind of takes you out of what's going on, but it's still fun to see. It's still delightful to see when this Indiana Jones is up on the big screen, right? And the movie kicks off. Boom! It kicks off with the running with a de-aged Indiana Jones back fighting Nazis. The first 20 minutes, 25, I'd say it's about 25, almost to 30 minutes in the beginning, and you go on this adventure, and you can't help but sit there and think to yourself, I want to see this Indiana Jones movie. This is the Indiana Jones movie that we should have gotten decades ago, which is a lot of fun to watch. Now, I do have some things to say about the CGI and the de-aged Harrison Ford, right? Like I said earlier, like I said a few minutes ago or earlier, it is jarring and it takes you out of the film just a hair, but you get used to it, right? You understand it. By far, this is the best CGI or de-aged. I would say the last time I've seen something this good de-aged was back with Robert Downey Jr. in Civil War, right? So that was the last time that I've seen something this good de-aged, and I mean for the most part it works for me. It works, and that's what makes it enjoyable too. At the same time, so you go on this adventure. Oh, and when he speaks, he sounds like an old Harrison Ford, but it is what it is, right? So you go on this adventure, it kicks off, and they're after the Dial of Destiny, right? And they go after this thing, him and his buddy, that apparently that's his best friend, that he even has Phoebe Waller Bridge, who plays his goddaughter. And so I forget the name of the actor's name. I should have had that prepared, but it is what it is. Um, and so they go on this adventure, and then it kicks forward, right, into Moon Day. That's when Neil Armstrong and all of them came back from the moon landing, and they're in New York. And I love what I love about this when it picks up is it it takes events that happened in previous movies and it acknowledges Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. And what it does, it brings you everything that it said it was going to happen. It happens in this movie, and I really like that, and I really enjoy that and respect it. So we go on and we meet Phoebe Waller Bridge, and um, man, at first I didn't like this character. I really didn't like this character. I thought she was annoying. The relationship that she had with Indiana Jones, with him, for whatever reason, it just wasn't working with Phoebe Waller Bridge. Right? She was just coming off as annoying. She was coming off as just fighting with Indy all the time, and you didn't understand why. Like you don't understand why, right? Their dynamic was a bunch of they were bickering with each other a lot of the time, and I couldn't help but think was this script originally written for Mutt or Shia LaBeouf, right? Which was Indiana Jones, um, his son from the previous movie, right? So you have that dynamic going on where you feel like she should have been played by Shia LaBeouf. That would have made more sense. We have some chats popping up over here, and nope, it says Gabe says I watched it. Um, let's see. Wait, you giving any spoilers away? No, this is a non-spoiler review. That's what this is. Um, so their relationship is a lot of back and forth and a lot of bickering, and you kind of almost don't want anything to do with this character. And it kind of sets up to the point where she's a know-it-all, and I know what it sounds like. It sounds like this is terrible and this is not a good direction. But I promise you, it evens itself out, and it's a lot of fun. And at first, the movie is trying to tell you, and it's trying to set it up as to be, hey, we don't need Indiana Jones, but we do. And I love that the movie goes down that path, and right before it gets to the point where it's unbearable and you're not able to go along with the ride, it veers back and it sets you on the path that yeah, Indiana Jones, we need him. Phoebe Waller-Bridge, her character tries to be the smartest person in the room, and it's not the case at all. Indy is always one step ahead of her and is always able to um, solve the mystery or the puzzle that we're expected to see. So that's really fun, right? So, like I said, the movie is directed by James Mangold. Not directed by James Mangold, and I enjoyed his work. He's got a nice library. Ford versus Ferrari, Logan. Let's go pull up some of his other projects that he's done. He's a fantastic filmmaker. Like I said, The Wolverine, Logan, 310 to Yuma, Copland, Ford versus Ferrari. So he's got a great library of films and directing films, which is such a good director. But one thing I do have to say about this film directed by James Mangold is you're missing that Indiana Jones feel. You're missing that. And what I mean by that is Steven Spielberg has such a stylized visual storytelling that you miss that part of this adventure. You have everything here to make a fantastic Indiana Jones film, but you're just missing that Steven Spielberg flavor. And what I mean by that is Steven Spielberg would do specific things while directing his movie, right? If it's the shadows on the wall, and then you see Indy. Or one of the things that I really enjoyed about Kingdom of the Crystal Skull was one of the Russians in the beginning. He would pull his arm back, and then when somebody would speak, he'd turn his head. Right, so you're missing that Steven Spielberg flavor in this movie, which sucks. But James Mangold does do a good job at times giving you that representation or that little bit of style. He does throw that in there where you see like things of the shadow on the wall of Indy, and he tries to give you that, but it just doesn't hit. And that's okay. I'm fine with that. But at the end of the day, I do miss that Steven Spielberg, and that Steven Spielberg flavor that you get. The movie was scored by John Williams, the fantastic John Williams. And man, does this score hit. Oh, yeah, this is everything that you love out of John Williams. So I always say when you don't notice the score to a movie, that is beautiful work that's done. Now, at key moments, you're supposed to recognize that the score is there because it's supposed to elevate everything in the room, and it's supposed to give you that tension or the heartstrings and those key moments that you get. But when that score is there and it's non-present, and you really don't notice it at the forefront, that is such a good job to me. For me, that helps a movie flow fantastically, and that's one thing that John Williams really does about this film. Is he helps elevate that movie like he always does with his music, and he really guides this film through. So I really enjoyed that. That was really nice to do. So that's what I have to say about the music, about John Williams. Like always, the man is a musical genius. You can't help to smile and get all excited when John Williams is at the forefront when his music's going. All right, the cast here. So we have our key players here. Mace. Gosh, I keep messing up his name, but he was the villain. Let me just go ahead and pull up his name real quick because I always Mads Mikkelsen. I always mess it up for whatever reason. He was a fantastic villain. I mean, he's always a good villain. Everything that he's in, he does a great job with it, right? You enjoy it, everything that he's in. He didn't feel generic, which was really good. You actually felt no shorts around, no piece. What? What? No short round, no. Oh, no short round, no piece. Okay, got it. Gotcha. Mads Mangold, gosh, Mikkelsen. Sorry, I'm always messing up his name, but he wasn't just a generic villain and a throwaway villain, which is really nice. He really puts in the work, and he really is. You kind of sympathize with him a little bit, and that always makes a good villain, right? If you're able to sympathize with the villain, you have a good villain there, at least for my take. And so that's always good. You have what's his name? Antonio Banderas in there playing one of Indiana Jones's friends. He's pretty cool. That whole sequence is awesome. I started laughing out loud because there's this segment where they have to scuba dive, and surrounding around Antonio Banderas, and I couldn't help but start laughing in the seat because all I could think about, unfortunately, is the whole Titanic thing, which is terrible for what it is, but it had me laughing. It was kind of like, ooh, man, it's kind of rough. So that was a good. That's what that is. The movie moves and it's at a constant pace, which is good. And then it comes to a downslide a little bit towards. So the first act of the movie, it's just go, 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 go. And then towards the second act, it begins to slow down, right? And it kind of almost bottoms out to the point where you're just like, fuck, I'm feeling this 2 hours and 45-minute movie. You start to feel that a little bit towards the middle of the second act. And then it gets right to a point where the pacing almost comes to a dead halt. Boom, it jumps back up and we start picking up again and we start moving forward to third act, which is really good. Now, what I have to say about the third act, I enjoyed it. This is very CGI heavy at times, and they do a lot of shots where they hide things in the dark, and there's this sequence with the rain where it's raining hard and it's hard to see and it's black. Um, and you know what they say, rain black, it keeps the CGI hidden, and the characters are having trouble seeing it, and you also as a viewer have trouble seeing what is on film. But you're still enjoying it, right? They have little hiccups. Is this a perfect movie? No, it's not a perfect movie. Is it a perfect movie for Indiana Jones, or is it a perfect Indiana Jones film? No, it's not. But it is a good time at the theater. It is good storytelling, and it's great to see Indiana Jones up on the screen again. I'm just making sure nobody is sending in chats. Okay. So at the end of this review, I'm going to give my a rating of where I put the films. Now that I have time to think about it and just rewatching all the other Indiana Jones movies. So also another thing that I have to say is, right, when people have, look, there's rumors out on the internet. There's rumors out on the internet where people were saying this happens to Indiana Jones, or Phoebe Waller Wed, Phoebe, Phoebe Waller Bridge takes over the mantle of Indiana Jones, right? And she is the becomes the heir to the franchise, and she now runs the franchise. No, guys, let me put that to rest. No, that does not happen at all, right? Indiana Jones, like I said earlier in this review, the world needs Indiana Jones, and nobody can replace Indy. And that movie sets that up. One of the things that Indy starts out to be, he's old, he's grumpy, he's an alcoholic, and we kind of learn why he is that way. And you kind of sympathize with that character a little bit. And also too, normally when I do my reviews, I just don't stick to one specific path of reviewing the film. I kind of jump around to everything, because everything comes back. And so if you're having trouble following along, I do apologize. But the ending comes at the end of the third act. There's this moment where you're like, fuck no, they're not going there. They're not fucking going there, right? And you have that fear, and then that fear goes away, and you're like, you know what? I want this to happen for this character. I'm not going to say what specific character, because that kind of goes more into spoilers, but you want somebody to have something, and it's just like, fuck. Now there was rumors that this movie was the reshot towards the ending, or they reworked that ending. Do I believe that happened? Kind of. Yeah, I can kind of see how that plays out, or how that would have happened. Um, but it works. It works. So overall, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny is one hell of a good time at the theater. Does it have its problems? It does. Not every movie is perfect, right? We all can't be a perfect movie, but it's still a good time to go to the theater. It's still fun to watch Harrison Ford throw on the hat, the jacket, and use that whip, and have those key moments and looks and those quips that Indiana Jones gives, and Harrison Ford. It's still a good time at the theater. Like I said, it's not a perfect film. It does have its problems, but it's enjoyable to watch, and uh, you forgive it for what it is, right? Harrison Ford's 80 something years old, and he's still running around playing this character. Come on, how can you not smile about it, right? How can you not say it? Now, at one point, this right here, I used to call this collection right here a complete set and a coffee coaster for Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. Uh, but I've grown. I've really grown to enjoy Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. I really enjoy that movie for what it is, and I saw it at a younger age. So it's a good time. Overall, it's a good time. Where would I? So a friend of mine asked me, where would I put this movie in this collection right here, right? Where would I rank it? For me, the Indiana Jones movies go um, now in this order. As of right now, it's in this order, and I would have to go back and rewatch the movie and see if I feel the same way after some time passes. But for me, the way these movies are ranked, right? Um, Indiana Jones: The Last Crusade, Raiders of the Lost Ark. I would put this movie before. So I would go The Last Crusade, Raiders of the Lost Ark. I would put this movie, Dial of Destiny, and then I would go Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. And lastly, I would go Temple of Doom as my least favorite Indiana Jones movie. I know that's very controversial, and like I said, this is my ratings of the film, so you're able to have what order you want. All film is subjective, but for me, Temple of Doom is the least enjoyable movie, mainly because of all the screaming that actress does. And now it has everything in there to make a good film. You got Short Round, you got everything in there. The movie's dark. It is what it is. But for me, Temple of Doom is my least favorite movie. All right, guys. So that's my review for Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. Comment below. Let me know your thoughts. Have you watched the movie yet? Are you planning on watching the movie yet? Start a conversation in those chats. Comment below. Let me know. And I can't wait to see what you guys have to say on your review. Hey, thanks for tuning in. And don't forget to follow us on Instagram, Facebook. Also, subscribe, please, if you're not already. My goal by the end of this summer is to get to 200 followers. I know that's not a lot, but just 200 followers. That's my goal for this summer. So please go ahead, like, share, subscribe to this channel if you're not already. Also, I have a Movie Talk podcast show. Obviously, you're watching a channel, VHS Movie Talk. We have an email. Please message us about any movies that are current or coming up that you would like to have a discussion with. And that is vhsmovietalk@gmail.com. All right, guys. Once again, I'm Dom Chayuta, and I'm so thankful that you stuck around and watched this non-spoiler Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny